Joining us today, Wala Afsar, who is a Chief Digital Evangelist at Salesforce, and Naveen Mishra, who is the Vice President at Gartner India Research. Wala, thank you very much for joining us today. We are at a point where technology is getting re-engineered and companies have to relook at the way they're going to do services or give services to customers and clients globally. To begin with, how do you see Indian companies transitioning to AI environment?
Thank you for having me, and a great question. At my company, Salesforce, over the last 10 plus years, we have experienced four waves of innovation when it comes to artificial intelligence. The first wave, which started around 2014 for us at Salesforce, was the predictive use of machine learning and AI. And then we saw a transition to the second wave, which was the generative wave. And most of the world woke up in 2022, late 2022 in November, with the moment of recognizing the power of artificial intelligence in terms of generative capabilities. And now we're experiencing wave 3 and 4, in my opinion, concurrently, which is the agentic era. This is now software that understands languages, natural language processing. It has reasoning capabilities. It has agency and autonomy to take action in terms of complex workflows in business. And it continuously learns and improves and adapts. And at the same time, we also see the physical wave of AI: drones, humanoid robots, autonomous vehicles. And in my 30 years of technology, and I used to think the web was perhaps the most important technology of my lifetime. Now I view wave 3 specifically, agentic AI, as electricity for the 21st century. It's the most important technology of my lifetime, and customers of ours around the globe have AI as their number one priority, from the CEO all the way down to any of the C-suite line of business leaders.
Well, Wala articulated very well, Naveen. But when you look at Indian companies, how do you think Indian companies are faring, and how do you think they are able to transition to this new era?
Thanks again for having me here. And in the context of Indian companies, what we see is there is a staged maturity pathway, and that pathway includes three phases. Phase one, which basically talks about the pilot, the experimentation, doing POCs, starting small, finding those use cases. That's where majority of the Indian enterprises are. They are piloting, they're experimenting. Now from there, then we move to the second phase, which is the stabilization. And this is where Indian companies are working very hard to get that AI-ready data, that regulation, that governance, that risk management. All of that is getting done, debated. And that's where some of the early adopters who have moved through the first phase, they are working on the second phase and handling the complexities. And then the third phase, as we call it, which is a cross-enterprise adoption, where there is a product embedded AI. Now, Indian enterprises are still not there. Very handful of Indian enterprises who are doing it. So when you think of this three-staged pathway, a lot of the Indian organizations are in the pilot stage, and now they are pivoting towards the second one, which is stabilizing the environment, getting the AI-ready data, getting governance, all of that together. This is where we believe that the next 12 months of effort, or even more than that, is going to be spent by enterprises, by even providers who are spending a lot of money into this whole AI environment. So that's how we see AI adoption in India.
Naveen, if you speak to some of the investors globally, and they claim that India is an anti-AI trade for them because we are in early stage of adapting to AI or in executing AI. But we are very far off from where some of the companies in the West or maybe some of the companies in China are. How critical you think is critical thinking skills will be, and how will it impact IT companies? Do you think that there is a code to how to manage AI and AI services?
Well, this is a complex question, and let me break it down one by one. India, I don't think is anti-AI trade. For example, India has plans like AI Mission. Indian data center companies are investing a lot of money into GPU as a service, which actually acts as that AI infrastructure to train and drive models, frontier models, some of the popular LLMs which are there, they are getting trained in India for the Indian customers. And that's part of the trade and AI trade that we can think of. So clearly there is more investment, and we are seeing the news of how variety of large data centers, such as one which is coming up, 1 gigawatt data center which is coming up in southern part of the country. So more and more such data centers are coming, and that illustrates that there is a huge investment happening within India. That's one part. The second part, which is the critical thinking, and yes, there is this ongoing debate about cognitive skills. What's the role of these cognitive skills within India and in general, and it's not only in the Indian enterprises, actually, it's also about the students and the kids who are using AI to get their assignments done. Now, the way we look at this is, yes, there are going to be checks and balances as well in place when AI is being used, critical thinking plus AI together. And that's where the new value delivery, the new experience is going to happen. So we definitely believe that variety of enterprises are going to put some checks and balances where they will see how AI is being used to drive the productivity, the efficiency, a lot of those discussed benefits, but at the same time, they want to enhance the mental aptitude of individuals who are using those technologies. So, in other words, AI is going to actually unleash and unlock the potential that every individual have rather than limiting their potential. And that's the way we need to look at it.
Vala, if I look at it from what Naveen is saying, there will be a need for AI-free thinking skills in project execution. What's your thoughts on it?
I agree with everything that Naveen said, and I just wanted to double down on my point of view based on my experience working with incredible businesses in India. India is uniquely positioned to lead the AI revolution. Salesforce has more than doubled its investment in the country just in the last year alone, not just in terms of the second largest hub for us in the world for AI talent, but also investing in startups. Salesforce Ventures is investing in unicorns in India, and India right now has 125 unicorns. It's third globally in the world. And according to NASSCOM research, 87% of enterprises in India are using AI solutions. And as Naveen said, they may be in the first stage or the second stage or third stage. We have companies like Air India that's using agentic AI for dispute resolution and refunds with great success. We have Hero Fund Corp that's reduced their loans for two-wheel vehicles to 30 minutes, an 80% reduction in time using AI agents. So I can give you examples of Indian enterprises that are at level 3, according to Naveen's definition, in terms of advancing beyond just predictive, beyond just generative, but using agentic. So, whether it's the startups ecosystem, you've got 198,000 startups in India. And again, according to research, 98% of these startups, digital native startups, are leveraging AI in some capacity. So, I'm incredibly bullish on the country and its ability to create critical thinking. According to Stanford Research, AI global skill penetration, India is number one in the world. You're graduating nearly 10 million STEM graduates on a regular basis. So, and as far as critical thinking, Gartner at Gartner Symposium this year forecasted that by 2028, 75% of companies are going to use AI tests in order to hire talent. So it's digital proficiency now means AI proficiency. But at the same time, Gartner predicted that throughout the next couple of years, companies will also have AI-free critical thinking assessment for onboarding new talent. So we have to make sure that we have AI proficiency. That's no longer an option, no longer an option. For any young graduates listening to this show, please make sure that you have applications on your mobile device and you're actively using the technology. But I as someone who enjoys movies, when I remember Iron Man and Tony Stark and Jarvis collaborating back and forth to build a hero suit, that was a beautiful example of humans and AIs co-creating value. But we must not forget, Tony Stark knew physics, he was an electrical engineer, he understood computer science, he understood mechanical engineering. So he had all those critical thinking skills, and that's what allowed him to work effortlessly with intelligent software to build the Iron Man suit. So no question, we have to stay teachable.
Naveen, a lot of Indian companies are now transitioning themselves, or I would say re-engineering themselves to become AI-centric services. Do you see that trend going up? And do you see Indian companies ready to take up that re-engineering which is required for their workforce, and in a way they are going to go to the client?
Yes, it's a very clear yes. And when we think of the agentic AI, we think of it as agentic platforms being created by some of the software companies, for example, Salesforce, SAP, and then what we also see is there are going to be agentic service providers who may take these platforms, or they will create their own platform. So a lot of services companies that we see, especially the India headquartered services companies, they are investing in a big way to deliver these agentic services to their customers. I can tell you, for example, in an insurance company, one of the Indian IT services companies worked on re-engineering their claim processing over the next 3 years in partnership with the CEO and his direct team. Now, this is a classic example of how AI, including agentic AI, is going to deliver business impact with the help of a contextualized, industry-specific, contextualized AI platform, which is orchestrated and delivered by a services firm. Now, a lot of these services firms are training their models within the country. That's where the compute is going. A lot of them are reskilling their people, hiring specific individuals who come with a specific industry context.
In association with Bank